My name is Michelle Gomez. I am 14 years old and I'm from El Camino Wesleyan Church, and this is my original oration. Today I want to start out with the book of Esther. If you aren't familiar with this book, it's basically about God saving his people, the Jews, through Mordecai the Jew and his cousin Esther, or also known as Hadassah. Mordecai had taken Esther in and raised her as his own. Now Esther's grown up, the king needs a queen. The king basically holds a beauty pageant to pick his new queen. Surprising or not, Esther, who hid her Jewish identity, is chosen queen. Let's pause here. During this beauty pageant, Mordecai just happens to overhear two royal guards who were plotting to kill the king. Mordecai tells Esther and she informs the king. Then it gets recorded that Mordecai saved the king's life. Also, there's this guy named Haman who is an Agagite. He was second in command to the king. He wanted everybody to bow down before him, but Mordecai refused to do so. Now Haman is super angry at Mordecai for what he did. When Haman finds out that Mordecai is a Jew, he convinces the king to make a decree to kill all the Jews. Now Esther and Mordecai are the only hope for the Jews. So Esther and Mordecai make a plan. Esther had to reveal her Jewish identity to the king and ask him to stop this decree. But there was a problem. Going before the king without being called by the king results in death if the king doesn't hold out his golden scepter. But Esther, being the brave woman she's known to be, responds with her brave and famous words, "If I perish, I perish." So going according to plan, Esther plans a banquet and invites both the king and Haman. And when the king asks Esther for her request, she invites them to another banquet the next day. Then at the second banquet, when the king asks Esther again for her request, she tells the king she is Jewish and that Haman wants to kill her, Mordecai, who saved the king's life, and all her people. So the king, who is filled with rage, orders Haman to be killed on the same stake Haman wanted to kill Mordecai with. Such irony, right? But the problem is still there. So the king lets Mordecai make another decree, letting the Jews defend themselves and destroy all their enemies on the same day they're all supposed to be murdered. Then the king elevates Mordecai into Haman's place as second in command to the king. This is a basic overview of the book of Esther. But I want to focus on the fact that God is never mentioned throughout the story. Yes, it's true. God is never mentioned in the book of Esther. But we can clearly see God moving and using Esther and Mordecai to save his people from all being killed. The coincidences in this book was God. Mordecai saving the king's life was God working. Esther becoming queen was God working. So I want to ask you today, do you see or feel God working in your life, in your family, in your problems? If so, great. But if not, it's okay. Let me tell you something. When we don't see God or feel him working, he is. Like in the bridge, Waymaker, a very popular Christian song, says, "Even when I can see it, you're working. Even when I can feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working." And this song is completely right. He is working. He's always working. Some of us may ask, where is God in this pandemic? He is here with me, and he is there wherever you are. So trust him and know that he is working for good. Like in the book of Esther, things can get bad, but God's plan is bigger than my plan or your plan or anybody's plan. I want to share 2 verses to conclude. Isaiah 64:4 says, since ancient times, no one has heard, no ear has perceived, and no eye has seen any other God besides you, who works on behalf of those who wait for him. And 2 Corinthians 1:9, indeed we felt we had received the sentence of death, but this happened that we may not rely on ourselves, but on God who raises the dead. God is the same God from the book of Esther. He is working. We just need to be still and know that he is God. We need to rely on him and be held. Thank you.